Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the easiest way to get to digital measures is to just go to the Provost website. I always have mine bookmarked, so I highly recommend that once you get there, you just bookmark it. But once you're at the office of the Provost website, you'll see, as you scroll down, digital measures, and you can just click there. And that will take you to the login page.
Okay. Can you wait till we're all there?
Yep, I can.
So,
And this is a regular login.
Yep. And so this uses your SOAR ID and your SOAR password. So anytime you change your SOAR password, which happens, fairly frequently, it will also be updated here. So
on the Provo,
single sign.
And so I've got the Provo digital measures. Got it.
Mhm.
And is that what you would like us to do? Follow along with your instructions?
That's fine. Whatever works for you all.
All right.
I'm going to give you a kind of an overview, and then we'll dive into some things. So when I'm doing the overview, you really don't need to follow along with anything, but then we'll go in and we'll dive in and do a few things. So once you've logged in, you will see a page that looks not quite like what's going to pop up, but you will see something that looks like this. There it is. So in digital measures, there are four main areas that we can input data either on your behalf or you can input data. Okay, so if we look at it just broken down, we have general information, teaching, scholarship, research, creative activities, and service. The four things that really matter in life, right? Who am I? What have I done? What am I teaching? What is my scholarly activity? And what do I do for service? So the big things are there. So let's just start in with general information. Okay. What you'll see in general information is there's a variety of what I call panels, right? So there's personal and contact information, there's education, there's appointments, there's administrative assignments, blah, 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 all over. Many of these panels you can enter all kinds of information. Some of these panels you cannot enter information. We're doing that on your behalf. And right now, that's a manual upload for me, so it may not happen in real time. So be patient with some of that. But nonetheless, that's how this is going. So if you look at personal and contact information as an example, you will see areas that I can change, and there are areas that I cannot. So where you see this lock, that's stuff that we're pulling in from the system on your behalf. That is how HR knows who you are. You can't go in and change that. Technically, I can't even go in and change it. I know a workaround, but I can't. Okay? But you can change your prefix. Some people like to go by doctor. I go by doctor. Some people like to go by professor. Some people like to go by Mr., Ms., whatever the case may be. You can select what your prefix is. We do not dictate that to you. Okay?
You can change your preferred name also.
You can. Yep. And it's very important to note that I inputted a preferred name, okay, as the same as my real name, because there's a lot of reports that will pull the preferred name.
I don't have campus box filled out. That's a number I should know, right?
That would be, your mailbox, whatever comes for the unit.
Yep.
Yep.
You
So.
have it on your business card.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's blank.
It's 5138. You want to add 5138.
So you'll see you can add anything that's not locked down. You can change. You can change your office phone number if you want to. Your department phone, your fax. If you move around, you can input your personal website if you want to. Your birthday is there. We do pull it. It's, believe it or not, the number one complaint I get about digital measures is that it has people's birthdays in it. You can go in and delete your birthday if you want to. You can mark your race, ethnicity, your citizenship. You can upload a photograph. Just one thing that I want to mention, the photograph that is in digital measures is not the photograph that will appear on the USM website. Okay?
All these blanks are required to be filled?
No, not everything's required. Notice I don't have everything filled. Nope, not everything's required, but you can put it in there if you want to. Again, think of this as your CV or your resume, So you don't.
Where's the photo going to the website?
So the photo for the website is being pulled from a file folder in University Communications. So we sent out information to all faculty that there was, during faculty first week, there were opportunities to get your photograph taken for free. That photo will be what should be pulling into your web profile. We also sent out a thing to all directors that if you have a professional headshot that you want to use instead, you can send them to your director. Your director can say whether or not they approve it or not, and then send that to University Communications. The reason we're not using, there's actually two reasons, but the main reason we're not using digital measures to pull the photograph is because, other than the little technical issue that was not hard to solve, but we really don't want pictures of people on the beach. You know, we needed a certain amount of professional control, and so that's why we went that way. Once you've made any changes to a panel, okay, so let's say I don't want to go by doctor anymore, I want to go by professor, I could select professor. You always have to click save up here in the upper right hand corner. Okay, so once you've made changes, you can save, and you're good. Okay, and it'll take you back.
If you don't hit save, you just wasted your time.
You did. That's exactly what you've done. That is exactly what you've done.
Been there, done that.
Yep. You will see you've got areas to put information about any consulting you might do. If you consult for a company, you can input all that kind of information under consulting. Notice I don't really do any consulting. I don't have anything listed there, but you could go in and you can add a new item, and you could put whatever you want in your consulting area. So maybe you're consulting with the company that makes Revit. You know, they've had you come and consult. You can input that information here. So you would say what kind of type it was, put in all the information, etc.
What does this do? When they put this in, this sort of goes in the resume for credit, right?
Yep. Yeah. So this really is a resume builder, if you want to think of that.
And we use this for annual reviews.
And you use it for annual reviews, and we use it for tenure and promotion, and we use it for the web profile, and we use it in the provost office to pull information on all kinds of things.
So don't be shy. Put your stuff in there.
No, don't sell yourself short, for sure. You need to be honest and truthful, but
Right.
you know, if it's something that you feel like you need to get credit for, make sure you have it in the system. Okay.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I know that if you go to the biography web profile,
Yeah.
remember Eric?
Yep, we did them all.
Yes, but it didn't show up on
No,
some
because
people's
you have to put it
website.
up on here, right?
Yes.
You have to have it here.
And does
So,
this show up on the website?
It will show up on the website.
Okay, that's where it shows up.
So I can show you that.
so under the web profile biography part, that's where we need to put the information that we want to show up on the website.
Yeah, so I can show you a little bit about this right now. So we have two biography categories. You have brief biography. Digital measures, to digital measures, brief is 20,000 characters. 20,000 characters was way too much content to put on the real estate that we have dedicated on your web profile. So we created a web profile biography. You see that little question mark? If you hover over those question marks, they will give you additional information. So for example, if I click on that, it comes up and it says, while the web profile biography has a maximum character count of 1,000, we highly recommend that faculty keep the web profile biography between 600 and 800 characters. Okay? That's not a ton of characters, but we're not after your entire CV to be on the web profile. And I'll show you some things on the web profile as we get to the end. And I'll show you how that's getting pulled. Okay?
Question, area of specialization.
Mm-hmm.
So will this page appear in our school page, something like that, for example, if it says the School of Construction or Architecture, that's, you know.
Yeah, I'll show you that web profile.
And specialization should be something, you know, subcategory of what discipline or what the field is, right?
One would presume, yes.
Because if the title of the page is, you know, School of Construction, I'm not going to say again, my specialization is construction. I should say something, narrow it down to my expertise, right?
You should, yes. So, you know, if you look at mine on the page, the way I have it constructed is I separated everything by commas. I'm an organic chemist by training, so I put organic chemistry and then the things that I do. And I just separated it by commas. You can do it however you want to do it.
So if it was left blank, chances are they just use your school as the same specialization.
Nothing will show up in your web profile if for blank things.
Okay.
So
A lot of us had, I'm not going to say it. Just keep going.
Okay.
You answer my question.
professional interests do not appear on the web profile. They could, but they don't. So that's something that you might want to put. Other interests, I don't list that kind of stuff. Some people do. Some people list that they like to scuba dive and do whatever you want. Your notable courses taught. You have the freedom of putting in what you want there. The way that I think it makes sense to me is to break it out as undergraduate courses and graduate courses and list underneath. I highly recommend, although some people disagree with me, and to me it doesn't matter, but this is what's going to appear on the web profile. Okay? I personally do not list those special topics courses or those directed studies that are like one-offs. I just don't list that kind of thing. If a student came to me and said, I want to do a special project with you because I'm doing this, that, or the other, and I'm not really teaching, it's kind of a full credit thing, I don't put it on there. And I haven't put everything that I've ever taught in my life either. I mean, I just put the things that I think are
Noteworthy.
noteworthy is a good way to what I teach regularly, what I tell people, that kind of thing. Your publications that you have will also be here. This is putting the cart a little bit before the horse because we haven't got to publications yet. You do not enter publications here. You pick publications from your publication list. And that's the number one thing that people do. They will say, I went there and I typed in this publication, then it went away. No, you actually select. So there's another panel that we'll talk about where you actually put in all your publication information. And here's where you come in and select from that. Notice I've got a drop down. I could go in right now and select any of my publications that I have listed. I could change the order and how they appear by using these arrows. Okay?
And once you select it, it will be on your website page.
Not immediately,
Oh, yeah.
but within the day, yes. So let me just Digital Measures updates the website twice a day. Sometime around 9 a.m., I don't know exactly the date, time, and second, and sometime around 3 p.m. So what happens is our website calls out to Digital Measures and says, what's the changes? And it gives them to them, and then it processes and it posts. Prior to this, I couldn't change my web profile, and this is no joke. I couldn't change my web profile twice in a decade.
Wow.
Because you had to have somebody who knew how to program Drupal, HTML. Now I can do it twice a day. I can change my publication. So, if I get a notice in the next 30 minutes from an editor that my recent publication has been accepted, I could go in and make those changes and have it up on the web within the day. Yeah. If you're into creative activities, you can have your creative activities listed there. I do not do creative activities.
So that would be things like art shows and
That would be
ballet performances and such.
poetry readings,
Yeah.
those types of things. Things that I consider more cultural. Yeah, they are creative. You can also list your professional memberships. Okay? So you can go in and select what professional memberships you've had, and those will appear on your web profile. You can put in your language proficiency information if you want that to appear, either on your CV or on your web profile. Notice I didn't list anything. I've had Spanish classes, but I would not say that I can speak Spanish. I have had enough trouble with English, so I didn't list English. But you can select your proficiency, the language, and you can have that, and that will appear on your web profile. So if you can speak French, German, and Italian fluently, and you want to put that on there, you want that to be part of what people know about you, you can do that. Or whatever you want to speak, that's right, or know how to speak. Your international experiences you would list here as well, but those won't appear on your web profile. That's not part of the web profile. You will notice, like here on international experiences, you see this where it says select number of rows to add. You can add as many rows as you need to. So maybe John has 5 international collaborations and he wants to list all of them. He can say add 4 more rows and he can put that information in there and keep track of it. What I want to impress upon you right now, though, notice the dates. Digital Measures is very good at a lot of things, but it is extremely picky about dates. Notice, in this case, I put 2011 and I haven't put anything in. It's an ongoing collaboration. I'm still working with Uwe Born-Scheuer in Germany. Okay? We started in 2011. I can't remember the day, or the month, or the day. It's not relevant. I just put 2011. It's an ongoing activity. For ongoing activities, you enter a start date and leave the end date blank. If it is an activity that started and ended within a period, you put a start date and end date. If it is a single day event, it's where people get confused. So like this thing we're doing right now is a single day event. You will only enter the end date. You will leave the starting date blank. That's very important. If you input the start date and the end date as the same date, it's going to have trouble when it pulls reports. Okay? So I always say, let's go over this again. So ongoing, it's a start date only. Single day, it's an end date only. Okay? That's very important.
So I have one of these right in front of me, and it's international teaching, and I put down, it's in the Netherlands, and I did it 3 times, and it was 2008, 2010, 12, and 14. And that's it. And each one was 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So I put down right now, I just picked the last one. I put May 7th through 23rd, 2014. That's just the last one I did. Should I go to the first one or list it 3 different times?
I would list it 3 different times.
So
There are
this
3
is
different
3 different 2 weeks periods.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
That's how I would do it. Because those are 3 distinct,
Different things.
if it's like,
Yours is ongoing.
mine's ongoing.
That's
Yeah, so if it was a thing that you were there for 2 weeks, but you were still doing something with them while you were here, and then you went back, and it's still kind of one,
Right.
but from what you tell me, it sounds like this were 3 distinct events.
2 week events.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So I would keep it that way.
Okay.
Could you go up to the publications one more time?
Mm-hmm.
So it's limited to 10, correct?
The web profile is limited to listing 10 publications. You can list up to 10 publications.
The application itself is limited to 10 as well.
You can input.
Can you scroll down? Because when I put in 10, I don't get that add button anymore.
Well, you can only put in 10 publications for the web profile. But what I'm saying is that you can have more than 10 publications in Digital Measures. I need to jump to that
All right.
in just a second.
I'm sorry.
You'll see it.
Okay.
But this is what the web uses to pull that information to put on the web. Okay, so that's why it's called the web profile panel. Okay. Now, of course, once you make changes, you'd want to save. I don't want to make any changes, so I'm just going to back out of it. For you all, it is very important that you list your awards and honors in the awards and honors panel. We do not upload that information for you. USM was horrible at keeping track of faculty awards and honors. And this has allowed us to know better how our faculty are receiving awards. You would simply go to add a new item, and you would input the information. You will put whether or not you were nominated for it or received. There are some awards that are so prestigious that even if you got nominated for it, you want it to be listed on your CV. You know, if I found out that I was nominated for the Nobel Prize, you better believe I'm going to put nominated for the Nobel Prize on this. That hasn't happened, so it's not there, obviously. But you can mark nominated to receive, the name of the award, who was sponsoring the award, the purpose of the award.
And this is only while we're here, you said?
No, you can put anything you want. Everything.
Excuse me, behind, when you talk about the student kind of publication, how we can add the list of our publications in this list?
I'll show you that. Give me just a minute. We'll get to that. It's in the scholarship area. Yep. So you'll notice the purpose for an award or an honor. We've got leadership, training, creative works, research, service to the community, service to the profession, service to the university. And you all go, Well, that's not the award that I got. Well, you got other. So you can select other. But when you select other, it will force you, before you save anything, to put in what the explanation of other is. Maybe in your guys' field, there is an award out there that's not really captured by those choices. You would select other, and then you would put in the description of what that is. You will then select a scope. Right? Awards have a scope to them. Maybe it was an international award, a national award, a regional award, a state award, something from the university, maybe just something that your department did. Now, notice department. What do we really mean by department at the University of Southern Mississippi these days? We mean school. It's just that Digital Measures is set up with department as the unit level. Okay? So when you think department, think school for us. You can put in a brief explanation, and again, by brief explanation, it's 20,000 characters. It turns out 20,000 characters is like 5 typewritten pages. You can go to town if you really want to. If you really want to explain this award, you can do that. You can put the date that you received the award, and you can also upload a file. Your file uploads, it doesn't matter what the file type is, but these are limited to 50 megabytes in size. Okay? So we've had people upload this as a picture of the certificate they received. We've had people put in pictures of them standing on a podium receiving the award. We've had people put in just a scanned image of the certificate as a PDF. That kind of information can go here. Why is that important? Some units require faculty to show proof of awards to count it as part of their annual evaluation.
Is there certification and award?
No, there is a place for certifications, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Awards are I always think of them as celebrations of some accomplishment.
Can you view the image file?
Yeah.
Once you put it in?
You can click on it, and it will pop up in your whatever viewer you have.
Thanks.
Yep, you can. Okay, so you can input your information there. That's important as a faculty member. Also note these little boxes out to the side. So you'll see that in two years in a row, I got the same award, lead advocate for Society for Science in the Public. Well, instead of last year just retyping everything the year after that, I duplicated it and then made alterations. What you would do is you would go in, you would check the box and come up here and tell it to duplicate. It will replicate all of that information, and then all you have to do is go in and change the date. So if you're getting something over and over and over again, you can just go in and duplicate and not have to type everything. Okay? So that's something good that you can do on more than just that panel. You can input your graduate and postgraduate training. Okay, so we'll just look at mine. I've got one entry here.
Oh, I got nothing.
So I was a postdoctoral researcher. My title was postdoctoral associate. It was at Vanderbilt. There's where it was. There's a description of what it was, and there are the dates.
So this is where we would put our graduate and our PhD.
You could put that's part of education, but you can put training in there. So if you receive some type of training,
Like me,
Yeah, like, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
So remember, this
there's
is-
more than one place you can put it, I gather.
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the design thinking training.
Yeah, the IDEO, and the,
Yep.
and what I'm doing now, the AQ, is that goes here to A,
Um,
or does that go to?
well, let's look at licensures and certifications. We'll have to talk about the nuances there. So there are subtleties and nuances. Your education information we are pulling from human resources on your behalf. I get a lot of complaints about education records. For some of you, you may not even have your education records in yet if you're new enough. I probably haven't uploaded them yet because it takes time for HR to get everything into the system. Okay? But let's just open up one. So we'll open up my PhD.
Yeah, because mine is wrong.
Well, maybe.
It is. It's an M arch, and then it says I have a B arch.
We'll take a look at it.
There's a button press.
Well, it's locked, you can't edit it.
You can't edit this. This is how HR thinks things are.
Okay,
Okay?
that's fine.
You won't see sequence number, that's irrelevant. It's just, I mean, the system has to know how to handle if you had 2 PhDs or 2 bachelor's degrees, so if there's a sequence. And that's hidden from you. That's what the H means. These red R's mean I can go in and edit them, but faculty can't. Okay? So in 1999, I got a PhD from the University of Oklahoma. My emphasis major was chemistry, general. I want you to know that this is not what is listed on your transcript. It is not the degree that, or the title of your degree that you have on your transcript. HR doesn't look at that. What they look at is what your SIP code is. So this is your SIP code description is a better way to think about it. That is why emphasis major does not appear on your web profile. What appears on your web profile is supporting area of emphasis.
They picked the zip code.
They pick the SIP. Well, in the hiring process, the SIP code is picked.
Okay.
And there is input from director.
Whoever was the director
That's
who
right.
did hired you.
Yep.
Because I got an architectural sciences and technology zip code, which is not my zip code. It's a 15.
You'd have to work with
HR.
HR to get that
I'd
fixed.
like to see that. Yeah,
And you can.
yeah, that's good. So check it out.
Yep.
We don't get to see all this though. I don't.
You don't get to see all this
This is-
except here.
Yeah, but that's you. I can't see that on my own, can I?
What's
Yeah,
your,
double click on
You
it.
see all this.
Just
Oh,
click on
double
one of
click,
them.
double click. Where? Oh, here.
No.
Pick your degree.
Down.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay,
so what, do you have a master's
I'm everything.
in architecture? What's your zip code in your master's of architecture?
I'll take a look at it. Well,
But you'll see supporting area of emphasis. When people ask me what did I get my degree in, I tell them I got it in organic chemistry. That's what I did all my work in. Well, but Oklahoma, actually, when I look on my diploma, it says chemistry. It doesn't say organic chemistry, right? So my zip code actually matches pretty close to what's on my transcript. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. But this does not appear on your web profile, your emphasis major. What happens is it appears as your supporting area of emphasis, and you can put whatever you want to there. So if you're an engineer, you put engineering. If you're a construction manager, you put construction management.
But you're saying that the emphasis major is the one that's posted on the website.
No, emphasis major is not posted on the website because that is a SIP code description.
Okay, but the supporting areas of emphasis.
Is,
Okay.
and it's however you put it in.
Right.
So we hold you responsible for that. Do you have a question?
Yes, please. I do not see any of those items that you see.
You may not have an education record in there yet.
And nothing.
anyone, you got a deal?
No, I will have to get it put in for you when I get the information.
No.
So, I'm sorry if you say that
See if
I'm
it's a
not,
different zip code deal.
So how are we supposed to say it?
You don't. Human Resources does. When did you get hired?
Somebody would
Huh?
have to do
3
that.
weeks ago?
Yeah, I don't have your information yet. It will get updated as I get it. It takes a while for all that paperwork to get put into the system. Yeah, there's a latency
There were
issue.
2,000 people who got hired.
Yep. And
2,000
So again,
people hired
if
this
there's a
year.
degree missing, I
Not
talk
all
to
right.
HR.
actually, what you do if you think your degree is wrong, there is
What
this.
form missing?
We're missing. There is this mock form.
Fill it out and send
You
it
can
to
fill it out, and that sends me an email, and it sends HR an email, and then we will investigate.
Because it's only my last degree that's listed.
Probably because when you were hired, nobody listed that you had other degrees. They just hired you based on your highest degree.
That was probably
So if
my
you-
doing
Okay.
when it was as an adjunct.
And that's all we
Yeah, that's
care
all I-
about to get you in the system and
Yeah,
paid.
yeah, yeah.
But if it's not in HR, we're not going to put it in digital measures.
No,
So,
thank you, I can do the form.
but we can do that. And so what HR will do is they'll say, I look through your file, and actually, if you go over to HR, they actually have paper files on everybody.
Yeah.
And they'll open it up and they'll go, well, the reason that you only have an M Arch is because that's all we got. We got a transcript that says you got an M Arch, Yep. which perfectly qualifies you to teach everything you're teaching.
And
But-
again, if we add the form, we're sending it to you.
When you complete the form, it automatically emails it to me and to HR. And I don't do anything with it until HR tells me that they've updated the system.
You don't
I
have
think
a
I'll be
degree
doing
in
the same
it.
thing.
Huh?
If it's not in here, you don't have a degree.
I do.
That's why look, this is why we brought Dr. Masterson here, because if we don't do our part, it's not gonna show up. And there's a lot more, I noticed when I looked at the results, there's far more, stuff that we have done and I know about, but it could have very well been me who didn't put it in to HR. So
Yep.
this is our
Right.
chance to get it as
To get it
well
right.
as possible.
Or those date rules. Right?
Those date rules, yeah, I didn't know
Could be a
about.
big part of
I think, I do not see any
You do not see anything.
awards and honors.
That's because you just got hired.
Yeah.
Same.
You have to put in awards and honors.
No, what I'm saying, I said I cannot, oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Let's look at faculty and professional development
And
activities.
this is critical because we had zeros all over this one. This is the one that showed zero, so we want to look at this carefully. That is where now?
I'm looking at professional and development activities attended.
And that's,
Over
I'm scrolling backwards. Professional.
faculty
There we go.
slash, yeah.
There. Faculty, professional, development activities.
Yep.
Okay.
This is where you will put things like your conference attendances, faculty first week things that you've done, any kind of
We put
seminar.
it in there?
Yeah.
No, we put it in there. Okay.
There are some that come through the Center for Faculty Development that they send me a list and I put in on your behalf. But you have absolute ability to go in and edit all of this. So you've got activity type, all of this kind of information, brief description. The only thing that we ask is that you use USM Faculty Development Seminar / Program only if it's going through the Center for Faculty Development. It's kind of their code. So if you go to one of those events at the Center for Faculty Development, you're more than welcome to use that. Otherwise,
Would that be like online learning and all that?
Yeah. Yep, you want to put all that information.
But would that be part of the?
Faculty development.
If it's run
Would be
through the
part
Center
of
for
that.
Faculty Development, yes.
So how would we know?
Asking.
Okay.
And they use.
If it comes from Kelly Lester, it's the Center for Faculty Development.
If it's on the Canvas, if the course is on the Canvas, then they also through this faculty development.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to give me an example. Not
I have
everything.
2 courses on the Canvas in Canvas 101 training and history of the school of construction and design.
There's a course on the history.
Yeah, the history of our department.
No,
Yeah.
that's just, I
On my
think that's not a
campus.
class, I think that's just a,
Where'd you get that from?
It's on your dashboard, so you'll
yeah,
have
that's
access.
where we put
I have no idea about
information
that.
such as meeting minutes and things like that.
But in your case, John, let's say you go over to the Office of Online Learning and it's not through the Center for Faculty, you've just been specific training.
Okay.
I got specific training from them
So there'd
too.
be a lot of boo-boos with that, huh?
Could be, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but
But you're just saying, if you have gone through that
Yep.
faculty center, hit that button, they really, because that gives them credits, right?
when we use it for attendance, we use it to know what kind of activity, what faculty are doing.
Today's specific training, right?
It is, and we'll enter that in just a second.
Yeah, if you click on that, that's just us, all the information that we need to know, meeting minutes and things like that.
And you'll see evidence of activity. You can upload a file again. For you all, my guess is this isn't going to be terribly important, but maybe. I don't know what you all expect in terms of evidence for your annual evaluations and tenure and promotion. Okay, but if it is, you'd want to do this. The people who really wanted this were the nurses. Nursing, to be a nurse, not just to be a nurse, but to be a nurse teacher, you have to undergo continuing education credits to remain. And so you'll also notice up here under activity type, we have continuing education programs. This is how they're keeping track of all of their required continuing ed that a nurse has to do. So they put that in there, they fill it out, and then they have to put their evidence of activity, which can be a continuing ed transcript of some type that they need for their accrediting body. Now, I don't know, are there continuing education expectations for architecture and?
For licensed architects, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a licensed architect and you go through whatever you go through,
Right,
you can post it in there, put the evidence in there, and you've got it.
okay.
You can use it for your, whatever you need to use it for.
That would show professional activity.
So let's as Fan said, let's use today as one. Let's go ahead and just enter one. So let's say we're going to call this let's call this a workshop. There it is. The title will be Digital Measures. The number of credit hours is 0, so just leave it blank. The number of hours we're going to spend, let's just put, we're probably going to go a little over an hour, but let's just call it 1. And then you can put whatever you want to in the brief description. You can type whatever you want. Doug spent a lot of time boring me to death, blah, 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 blah. Right? You can put up whatever you want to in there.
You said it says approximate number of hours spent per year, or should we put one above it?
You're not getting any credit hours.
Okay, so it's in the right box. I'm there.
That's the right box. Yeah, number of credit hours would be like for continuing education kind of thing.
And sponsoring organizations just use them.
University of Southern Mississippi. Yep. And then how are we going to date it?
In date only.
In date only. So you're going to put September 6th, 2019.
No end date?
No, end date is what you put. Only the end date. Only the end date. And when you're done with that, you will click Save. And I'm not going to save it because I'm not receiving a development activity. So I'm going to leave the page.
I did not.
So do we, for example, my ACU,
Mhm.
I will put that in there even though I'm going to be doing it for 3 semesters?
You can. You can do it. There's several ways you can do it, and none of them are wrong. You can put it in as 3 separate entities because they're kind of semester by semester kind of things, or you can do it as a continuing thing.
So here's what I'm going to say. I asked everybody to come here. You're taping it. Once they watch this tape, they have to go and do this on their own without the benefit of your assistance. And if it doesn't show up there, it didn't happen.
You can. Yes.
As I'm doing my annual evaluation.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly what I tried to convey. I hope that I did a good job when I sent that email request out. But this is how the university is assuming the same thing.
Yeah.
On other different areas where they're asking.
It's just like teaching a big class and the students have clickers and you say everybody click in for attendance and they don't click in.
They didn't attend.
That's right.
Okay. Good example.
So licensures and certifications. This will get to what Leffie was talking about. I'm going to go to add a new item. This is where you can put anything that you have in terms of a licensure or certification. Now, AQ, you get a certificate at the end if you complete it. This is where you would want to put that certification. You are a certified AQ fellow, I think, right? And so you can put the title of the license or the certification. So in your case, it would be AQ, fact, whatever that title is. Sponsoring organization would be USM. The scope would be university. You would put a description of that information in there. You can put the date obtained. You can put the expiration date. You can put whether or not it's relevant to SACS qualifications. Don't worry about that one right now. But for some faculty, when they get hired, they may only have a bachelor's degree, not a master's or higher, but they're perfectly qualified to teach that course because they have a certification in an area that gives them special skills that we can use to hire them to do that.
I have an entry here. It's a certification that ended in 2017.
Ended by meaning it expired,
Yes,
then you would put the expiration date right there.
I did.
Yep. And it will stay in the system.
But
But
on
it'll
the
show that it's-
website, it shows it as a credential, which it's not anymore.
Okay.
Is that a digital measures issue?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. No, not a digital, it
Okay.
could be a website issue. And so send me that information. And what I can do is talk with our vendor to see if they can hold that as a field to make sure that they're all.
I could stay on, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Masterson, it looks to me like on this licensure thing, this is one of the things that allows us to hire someone who doesn't have a master's. And so I would have that, I would enter in, or somebody would enter in, the relevance to SACS would be to click yes.
And at some point, I'll be the one taking care of that.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we will correct it if we're wrong, and if we can show the license, we update it.
Yep. And you can upload a picture or a scan of your license.
That's right.
Yep.
This is where James Polk could be.
So,
getting up to speed.
if Carlos was in here, he got certified to do this NCCER stuff, right?
Right.
He would, If he was a faculty member, he would put that kind of information.
Yeah, I have it in there, it says
Do staff
expiration
people have
date
anything, is
2020.
there anything for staff to do on this?
This is not a staff
Okay, so we're
system.
done.
Yeah.
That's a question. Go ahead.
Because I see that each page has at the bottom, asks us to choose a file, to upload a file. Is that something that's required for annual review?
That's a conversation that you all have to have as a school.
If it's evidence needed, then the answer is yes. Why not upload it? Well, yeah, because otherwise we just fill in the blanks.
Again, the university's not dictating that. That's a school level decision.
But
And
you
so-
just said a general question. I don't know if I answered it accurately, but generally speaking, if you're
So in your
saying-
annual evaluation process, if you all require somebody to show proof, then I would say you want to upload your file. Yeah. If they are, we know that this happens, we're not going to be that picky.
Yeah, and
It
so-
never hurts if you've got it.
That's right. We require a lot of things here that take time. For example, everybody that got certified to be on an accreditation team was done purposely. I know they did it, but let's say there's another director, you don't put it up there, it's not done.
It's like it never existed.
And I would go ahead and put it on there
Yep.
just because you're eligible to go on an accreditation visit. The next person sitting here might say, why do you want to go? He said, I've been certified by ACCE.
Yep.
And those are the things that just somebody won't remember, you won't remember. It's good, just put everything in there that you can because it doesn't hurt you.
Under professional memberships, this is where you'll list your professional memberships and the dates that you were a member of that society. This is where, on that web profile page, it goes in and looks to see what professional memberships you have listed, and then you can select 5 of them to be on your web profile. So that's how that works.
Okay.
Now, the one that I think, Eric, that ended up being problematic for you on your form is work history.
Work history.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go.
Work
No,
history.
it wasn't just work history, it was experience. It says we had 0 years of experience.
Well, it said, but it's based on work history. It
has to
takes,
be- that's
and I'll show you the report in a minute.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is the title of the field, but where it's pulling it from, it was work history.
So if you have professional work history, you put it here. If you have academic work history, you put it here, right?
Yep.
Okay, this is what none of us
Oh,
knew.
I got you. Mine's blank. No wonder I have 0 years.
Yep. So you'll put in the experience type, the title, rank, position, the organization. You'll put in all this information. You'll put in start and end dates.
I have a question.
Sure.
I had to apply and go through the proper channels to apply for the teaching assistant, right, that I got the other year. And I had a syllabus, and I was told, put the syllabus in digital measures.
Mhm.
So
You can do that.
right, but you see, I thought that, okay, I have all my work history there, I have my education, and I thought somehow magically that digital measure was going to take that. But no, I have to type it in individually one by one.
That's why we all got zeros. None of us. We all assumed the
Yeah.
same thing.
Because this was right when you had started with digital measures.
Yeah. You know what's happening on paper, on those things that you fill out, is that people like the director and the dean and the provost sign off on it. And then when it's signed off on, HR just goes, okay, they're good to go. They now have this rank. But none of that rich information that you're doing goes off the page onto anything in the system.
And so here's what the advantage is. When we were doing this quick notice for ABET, if all of our stuff had been inputted, click, the report would have been done. And if it doesn't, I have to go around and pick each one of you, look at your resumes and spend days and updating everything. And even if you don't update your resume because you don't have to, it's behind. So this is we're asking, please do it for our benefit, for the school benefit, and your benefit. So, and nobody was exempt. Every one of us had 0.
Yep.
And that just
So
means,
that's the one important thing that you all have to do ASAP.
yes, today at least put something in there.
I've done that a long time ago. My work history is there.
So
It
if
should be 0.
Yours pulled up something, I think.
There may
But
have-
remember, you may have also had a date inaccuracy or something too that's important. So
This, we'd like you to, today I ask you to do one thing, just show some work history, just whatever you've done.
So I think this is a good time to maybe transition over and talk a little bit about the report.
Okay.
So this was ABET, which one?
Uh,
Table 6.1 or 6.2, or which one was it?
let's see something.
Faculty qualifications?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So basically what Dr. Cannell would do when he wants to pull this ABET Table 6.1 faculty qualifications, he would come in and he would select the date range, and he would put who he wants to include, and then he would run the report. And that report pulls all of your information from digital measures. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what the template looks like so you can see where all the information is coming from.
I didn't have to do that. Is that because I was on a different computer?
What?
I didn't have to do all these selections when I.
No, it has to do with the Mac. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
so there's the template. Okay, so it's showing you where it's pulling information. Okay.
See, that person has no experience. No.
So yeah, so it pulls the first name, all that information, pulls your degrees, shows you where it's pulling it, whether or not you're full-time or part-time. It pulls that from your yearly data record, which we didn't talk about. Okay, and it pulls all of this information and makes it look like a nice table.
And rank O means other,
Um,
because I had rank O on mine.
I don't remember what O means. But this down here is telling you the logic that it's using. Okay, so up there's the template, but for degrees earned, it's looking at your education records. It's looking to see whether or not the highest degree you have earned is equal to yes. That's stuff that I'm inputting, right? Rank, it's pulling those values. Now, years of experience, what it's pulling is work history, and it's looking for experience type contains the text academic. So you had just selected the experience type as academic for it to pull here.
So if we didn't put
So
academic,
in the added work history, and the first
Right.
thing is experience
Yeah.
type.
So I'm a professor of chemistry and biochemistry. I've got that in my work experience. I've selected academic. It's going to pull.
Academic post-secondary, yeah.
Yep, it's going to pull that information from there, right? Years of experience, this institution. It's looking at permanent data, which is already there, so that's usually up to date. It's looking at your professional registration certification information. It's looking at your licensures and certifications. So if you don't have anything there, it's not going to pull anything.
And again, we just leave the SACs thing,
Just leave it
Blank.
alone for right now, yeah. It's not going to make a difference here. And then your level of activity for professional development is going to look at your publications, your presentations, your contracts, fellowships, grants, and sponsored research. It's going to count those. Boom, 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 boom.
yeah, I remembered, yeah.
So you've got to have all of those things. Now, you all do not have access to look at the report templates, but Dr. Cannell does.
And FAN was the most up to date of all.
Yeah.
So FAN will help us if we get stuck again. I do remember that. Remember it was popping up with more information than anyone else, so I was wondering how you did it. So it means you know.
But if you have all of your information in and it's up to date, what you would normally put on your CV, in 30 seconds, Dr. Cannell can have the report ready. He would then pull it up in Word and he would look at it just to make, because you might put something in that's a typo. It should be reviewed.
Right.
And also, since you all are a discipline that's also a school, there will be people that get pulled in that are probably not relevant to, like Claire, like whoever taught previously in ID, because that's not going to be relevant to your ABET accreditation. You'd have to go through and just delete them out of the.
So I noticed that some places do have the distinction between their discipline is different than their school.
Yep.
Can we get there someday in the future when things settle down?
I would think so.
I would think so too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know some do it and some don't.
Yeah, and that's just how reorg was set up.
That's how we are.
So it would be a conversation that you want to start with Chris, the dean, and then move that to the provost.
Okay.
And we could certainly work with that.
Yeah, it seems like you've done a lot of that. We just didn't go that far.
Right.
That would help us.
Your teaching, let's look at teaching real quick.
Okay.
This is going to be important.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
This poster
An accepted
Research
poster
poster,
at a
yes.
conference, is that a publication?
Uh,
Or where would that go?
well, I don't know what it's counted as in your field.
It was a poster that Sam and I.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we
Carlos,
count
and it
those
was
in it.
presented at a conference.
So if you look at here under scholarship and creative activity, we have presentations and publications.
It would be a presentation.
Okay, but if she presented it, but we worked on it. I can't put it on the presentation because I wasn't part of presenting, even though I was part of it.
You were a co-author on that presentation. Yeah,
Okay,
you
so I
put
can
it
put it under presentation.
And that you would just go through the faculty.
in. And once you put it in, it will actually automatically populate your field.
Oh,
So I select your name, you should see it.
oh, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Double check.
So under teaching, you'll see academic advising. We populate this information for you. Let me just pick on the fall of 2018 for me. We upload this information on your behalf at the end of every semester. So at the end of last fall, I had 4 undergraduate students who I advised. I had 1 graduate student. All of that information is coming from SOAR. You can't change it. That's the official information. Everybody always tells me I had more advisees than what SOAR says I had. I believe you. But it's what SOAR says you had. So you all need to work with whoever in your unit is responsible for assigning advisors in SOAR to make sure that that information is up to date before the end of the semester.
We have 0 on all of those because Kimber does it all.
Yeah, so okay, so you're not gonna see anything,
Don't
probably.
worry about that
Yeah.
one. Except previously,
You'll have some previous years.
Arrival,
Yep.
there was some of that, but
Okay.
you shouldn't worry about that.
All right, well, that's good.
Later, if you have a question after this workshop, who do you or someone else can call or email about?
Sure, yeah, always feel free to call me. Or, you know,
Or email you as well.
email me, all right, come over and help you, whatever the case, whatever's needed, yeah.
He's very helpful.
I know I'm jumping a little bit. Did we talk about workload information?
And we're not going to talk
We're not
about
going
that.
to talk about
We're not talking about workload information right now because it's not been fully implemented. But what's going to happen in the future, just to let you all know, Dr. Cannell will go in and put in what your workload information is on your behalf. You will be able to see that. You'll be able to go in and have a conversation about that if you disagree with it.
Okay.
But you will know what your workload information is. But we're not there yet.
And anytime, I would err on the side of putting more in. When I review or print the report, I'll tell you, this should really go over here rather than there. But if it's one place, we can move it. But if you don't put it in, it counts as nothing. So don't be afraid of saying, well, I didn't want to get it in the wrong place, so I didn't put it in. When you say that, put it in and we'll fix. It's my job to make sure that it's in the right
Always
place.
err on putting more in than less.
Yeah.
Let's talk quickly about scheduled teaching. This is an area that we pull for you at the end of every term. So when a term is over, I pull this information and put it in digital measures.
Which one?
Usually somewhere around 2 weeks after the semester's over, more or less. Why do I wait a couple of weeks? Because there are always people that forget to put their grades in, and then all those students are assigned I's, and I don't want that to be in the so I wait a while. Okay? But what you can see in this example, this is one of mine last time I taught a real course. This was an MCAT prep course. It was actually a biology course, not a chemistry course. All of this stuff is coming out of SOAR. The zip code for the course, my load factor was 67% because I team taught this. So the other people who were there also get their percentages. You can see the official enrollment number, the credit hours, the number of student credit hours. You can see all that kind of information.
Okay.
Okay? And that's just coming right out of SOAR.
I'm being very selfish now, but I have a really quick question. So she put it in under presentation, the poster I was talking about. I see it under my presentation. That's how fast you put it in. But it's not something that I can, because it's under presentation, I can't get it onto my website. Only if it's listed as a publication can I get it onto the website. Is that correct? But a poster is not a
That's
publication.
not a publication.
See, that's my.
I don't think it's a
That's my
publication.
only one. That's why.
Okay.
Right, and it's
Okay.
not, it's
I'm being
not deemed
truthful.
as such publication.
Yeah, okay.
typically.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and we work that internally.
No, I know.
If you felt like it was
No,
more
no,
than
no.
one,
I was just, I'm just being selfish and looking out for myself.
but that decision's not made by Doug, that decision's made internally by the school.
about whether to count a poster as a publication or presentation.
Right.
That is up to you.
That's up to us.
And there are some places that count not necessarily the poster presentation as the publication, but the fact that it was published in a book,
Right.
an abstract. The abstract was published. People will count that.
It does. The abstract is published.
So you can put the abstract as a
So
publication.
that's what you've got to,
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can count. Yeah. You'll see we've put some new things in here as well. So there's this thing called high impact practices. This is going to be a very important thing for the provost. One of the things that he's interested in is how people are using high impact practices in their teaching. So at the end of the semester, you can go through and you can mark all the high impact practices that you regularly utilized in your course.
And how would you know what these are? You took a seminar in them or something, or?
Well, we have this little question mark.
Yeah.
That will tell you that you should be able to go to the provost website for more information on these high impact practices. This is actually a new addition, so I'm not sure that we absolutely have that on the provost website yet. I'll need to check on that. But you would just go through and you would check all of these types of things that you did. You can then put a description of those high impact
I'm
practices.
going to sit here and say required public demonstration of acquired course knowledge would be a poster that they had to develop after they went to Chicago, summarizing key points that indicated there was some learning that took place. That would be publicly demonstrated if we exhibit it and we have evidence of it if needed. Okay.
You can do it. Yep.
So you're saying we have to, whatever ones we select, we have to describe it?
We ask that you describe
For
it.
example, direct mentorship of students through ongoing communication and individual meetings. Well, yes. Of course, you have office hours.
But is that part of your class? Is that actually, are you using it as a high impact practice? Or are you just simply answering questions?
Right, because I don't obviously know what high impact practice is.
That's why you want the definition.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to get educated on
And
some of
all
that.
of us do.
Right, that's why, okay, thank you.
You can also mark whether or not this was a new course preparation, and you can mark whether or not it was a new format. So one of the things that Dr. Cannell might be interested in every year is, okay, Fan, you've taught this class now for 5 years. Are you still teaching the same old way, or did you at some point revamp the course? Well, you can mark, hey, you know what? The 10th time I taught it, I was getting kind of tired and I wanted to revamp it. So yeah, it's a new format. I'm going to put yes, and then you can put comments on it.
And I would tell you, if you've done your student learning outcomes for assessment, for accreditation, that button should be checked every time yes.
Okay.
If it's an SLO course. Because all you got to do then is say what you did.
Yep.
And that could be your SLO report, cut and paste, stick it in there,
You're done.
and you're done. See what I'm
You
saying?
mean like how to make the course better each
No,
time?
I'm saying exactly this. If you are doing student learning outcomes in your course, that's an automatic yes for that course. If you're not doing student learning outcomes in your course, but you do it anyways, that's also a yes. But you've got to say how or what you did.
ACCE student learning outcome.
That's correct. Or any student learning outcome. Because we also have course student learning.
You all have to decide.
That's internal.
That's internal.
Yeah, so I'm just right here telling you, this is an opportunity for getting credit for work you're doing,
Absolutely.
and put it in here.
You'll notice there are 2 places to upload a file on each one of the courses that we upload for you. There's a place where you can put your syllabus. So at the end of the semester, you can put your syllabus in there. This is going to be helpful because actually for directors, we have what's called a syllabus report. Dr. Cannell can go in and put in the date ranges, run the syllabus report, and it will pull everybody's file for him so he can have everybody's syllabus.
Because right now, Carlos does that manually.
Carlos could go in and run this report if you get it.
But I'm saying this is, and not everyone does it, so
Yep.
this will show.
So you want everybody to put their syllabus in?
That's what I think is the best way to do
I
it.
would do it.
Yep.
The answer is yes.
Yep.
And then there's a place here that you can put supplemental material / student comments, and you can choose a file for that. So some people put their entire student course evaluations in there. I've seen people that, for whatever reason, they did a new course prep, they spent a lot of time revamping their course, and every student sent them an email saying how great it was. And they, made a PDF of that and stuck it in there as evidence. So, your review committee could go, well, look, they did all this, and look at all these student comments. It's great, so boom, you can have all that kind of information.
So let's say you don't put it in, and I run a report and I don't see it. I said, look, I know you did this, but I don't see it. Would you mind putting it up here so it goes into the system?
Yep.
Could you go back? I'm sorry. What is the HIP wants to use for SLOs?
HIPs are different than SLOs. I think what Eric was talking about was this new format for existing courses. So if you're doing, he's asking if you're doing these
Course
SLOs.
outcomes box says refer to the HIPs above. That's all I'm at. That's fine.
High impact practices.
High impact practice.
If you check any of these boxes, you should put a description of some sort here. If you check this box, which is what you were talking about for the SLOs,
Right.
then you should put some sort of description there, I would think.
Yeah, anytime you're
What box
responding,
are we checking?
New format for existing courses, isn't that what you were talking about?
if you have done a student learning outcome and it's changed what you do in your course, that qualifies in my mind.
Oh, it's changed.
Yeah, it's a change.
So
Because
you-
if you're saying, now if you said everything's perfect, we're gonna keep on doing it, nothing needed, that means you really had the learning outcomes are working, you didn't need to do anything, you're maintaining. But if you said, look, 30% of the course didn't make, 30% failed, and we wanted to know more than 20, we had to spend a little more time in doing this versus that, and that's closing the loop. And
We
that's,
had some architecture students here, because that could utilize for that A bit.
well, this is all new anyways, but correct.
Excuse me, because I don't see what you're seeing there.
You don't see what?
I close my pages because many of those, the things that you talk about.
Yeah, you haven't taught any courses yet. You haven't completed any courses, so it's gonna be blank for you.
But they're blank for all of us right now.
Later on, I will
No,
definitely.
you've got scheduled teaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Now, there's two boxes here, directed student learning and non-credit instruction taught. These are great boxes that I love. So directed student learning, this is about if you're dealing with honor students doing a thesis, if you're doing some type of research project with a student, this is where you'll capture all that kind of information. Okay? So you can put all that information in there. You can describe it however you want. Non-credit instruction taught is also very important in my mind. We all do non-credit instruction and we rarely get credit for it. Hence non-credit instruction.
Useful measures today.
That's right. And I will go in and I'll put in that I did delivered
Right.
an instruction. So let's say, John, let's say that Leffie invites you to come and talk to her class. You're coming as a guest lecturer to come and talk about something. Okay? All right, so you would go in, and after you've done that, you would go here and you would put, hey, I did a guest lecture. The audience was, in this case, it would be internal to the University of Southern Mississippi. You could put the number of participants. Okay, there was a class of 20 students. It was academic. You can put a description of it. You can put evidence in there if you wanted to. You can put the email in there that Leffie said, John, can you come and talk about whatever? You can upload that as evidence.
You just put the end date.
And you would just put the end date since it's a one-day thing. At the end of the year, right, when you do an annual evaluation, okay, well, John taught these classes, but also, look, he really participated in a lot of other, he took what he knew and he taught it in these other classes as well. So even though you're not getting credit as part of your teaching load, that's something that should be taken into account. It was effort.
And you went up with the Choctaws. That would be those Choctaws, excellent.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it looks like, and if that's something you really like doing, but you never got credit for, this is where that can make a difference. But
It has
it's a
to
lot of
be
work
at the
for us.
international building.
You gotta-
in
you
15
probably should
minutes, so I
regularly-
have
Okay.
to go
You gotta figure
Sure.
out how far regular.
have that
Correct, yeah,
eight-
now, but starting today.
Okay,
every-
that's fine.
Every week.
What else are you gonna talk about?
Upload,
Good idea.
and that's what I'm gonna do.
I think I'll wrap up real quick because we're running short on time.
Okay.
Because everything else is pretty much so the same. But you've got teaching innovation and curriculum development. This is where you can really talk about, maybe you sat down and thought about architectural curriculum, construction management curriculum broadly. You can put all kinds of information in there.
Wow.
Your teaching qualifications, do not mess with. Eventually, all these qualifications forms that you send me about who's qualified to teach what, all of that information will be in here so that a director, in this case Dr. Cannell, I don't know, let's say somebody leaves and he goes, oh crap, who's qualified to teach? He could go into digital measures, run a report and go, oh, okay, I know we've already qualified these individuals to teach this course. We're good. I don't have to panic. Or maybe he looks at it and goes, oh crap, nobody, whatever the case is.
So do we fill that out, teaching qualifications?
Nope, you leave this alone.
And
But
we
teaching
can't mess with
innovation
any
and
of
curriculum
those.
development, please go in and be
That
rich.
also pulls from somewhere, doesn't it?
What?
Teaching qualifications.
Not yet.
The innovation and curriculum development.
Teaching innovation and curriculum development, you put in.
I put every class
So
that
let me
I
show-
started from scratch, I put in.
Yeah.
Here you would put the NCCR handbook.
Okay.
And the EBIA certification. Workshop.
So, maybe you developed a new course. Maybe you revised an existing course. Maybe you came up with a new degree program. Maybe Dr. Cannell said,
But it doesn't pull from anywhere.
there's no place we keep this. This is where this would be.
I'm just curious.
Or maybe, you all sit down and you go, the architecture program needs an overhaul.
Done that.
Leffie, you're gonna take care of that. Well,
We already
you have
did.
revised an existing degree program.
Yeah.
Or other, depending on what the case may be. All right.
Okay.
The last thing to briefly mention, I'm going to skip over the research and scholarship because we've talked about bits and pieces of it. Service. Notice we've got service broke up into university, professional, and public. Okay. So just fill them out as such. They differ a little bit, but not by much. You can go in and add a new item.
Save.
Always say. Yeah. Now the thing is that this was there additional compensation for this activity. 99.99999% of the time you're gonna put no. Right? We don't pay people too much for service. But maybe you're doing service for a national organization, and you receive compensation for it. You can mark yes, and you can let that be known. Okay.
And again, it doesn't have to have anything to do with USM.
No, this is your
Well,
CV.
there were 3 buttons. It said university.
Well, for university, yes, you would.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But
But I'm
for
talking for professional.
but
You went to a lot of the architectural engineering things.
Yeah, I
Invitation.
put that under professional.
Yep.
Like for grants, if you got that from the when you were working in the other advertisement organization,
Yeah.
you still.
Sure, it's
so
great.
you can put grants in.
Absolutely.
We are going to upload grants information from.
Don't forget to get your new picture at communications. It'll be charged to our department, or you want to be on the web.
I have my IQ and international.
I know, but
marketing,
don't forget, that's the only way your picture's going to get on the website.
But I already have a picture.
Eric,
Do we have to do a new
we need to
picture
know
or
what
an
you're
exist? Because I did a picture
Right.
like 2-3 years ago.
That's not the one, is it?
It's not the one, but she could send that to you, and if you approve of it, you can
But
send it to
I
her.
did it
What do
through
you
the
want?
Then
university.
the answer is yeah.
You want us to go.
But I don't know where that picture. I don't know where the
Yeah.
file is for
If
that
you
picture
have
anymore.
your
You'd have to talk to
professional
somebody else
picture
about
for
that.
your website, you send it to me, fine. If you have a really well done one you like better, send it to me.
I've done that
Cool.
thing.
Okay.
I had my headshot like 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and this year they asked me to do it
a
again.
new one.
That makes things easier. They said.
Yeah, they were offering free pictures, so
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you wanted to make it okay, you can, but if you don't,
Yeah.
you'll just.
Or I will just send you my JPEG.
I looked better 3 years ago.
Yes, that's right.
I did
You're
too.
not gonna be posting your beach picture though.
No. The one that I took as the whole
You should have-
That's not saying much.
You're good. You can- it's free.
So just to show you really quick on the faculty directory on the web page, I just want everybody to know right off the bat, I am not the web person. I get all kinds of questions about the web. I'm the digital measures person with it. So you can search this for all kinds of things now, and we'll just search for mine. But everything that you're seeing right here, with the exception of the pictures, coming from digital measures. My rank, my areas of expertise, my college, my school, my discipline, all that is coming from digital measures. Right? My email is coming from digital measures. My location, they can click on the map. All that's coming from digital measures. When they click on my name, it takes them to the other information. There's my biography that's coming directly out of digital measures. Word for word. So you need to make sure that you spell check. Nobody else is editing this for you. When you look at degrees, that information is coming out of digital measures. Notice it says organic chemistry, not chemistry, general. That's the supporting emphasis. PhD, University of Oklahoma, 1999. When you look at the courses taught, it's pulling those courses as I have them written in. When you look at my publications, It is pulling them in the order that I have in that list. It is not putting publications in a reference style like you would do in a citation for a paper. I've got some complaints about that.
Right.
But every discipline has its own style. We can't do that. So we settled on a generic style, which would be the title, the journal or the book, the year, and a link. So if you have a digital object identifier for that, a person can go there and just click on that and get straight to your publication. Okay? You can have up to 10 publications. Certifications and licensures are listing, and that's what, John, you need to send me that. And then, of course, my professional affiliations. Now, you'll see this edit profile. When you click on edit profile, it just takes you to
Takes you right back.
Digital measure.
So that's the second way to get to digital measures is just find you on the web, click edit profile, and it'll take you
Oh, I
to
like
digital
that.
measures.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty
That's a nice feature. Okay, well, thank you very